guys. Um, so it's me again, and today we're going to do it again. We're going to talk mental health. All right. Um, a lot of people I've learned that suffer from mental health struggle with asking for help on how to cope, how to deal. Um, so they live in a very lost world. So today I thought uh, we would talk about some safe coping skills. Once again, I am not a therapist. I am far from a therapist. I am the patient of the therapist. I am the diagnosed. Uh, and so these are things I've learned. These are things that I've gathered information, self help books, other people, other groups that come together for those of us that suffer from mental health have been a huge help in getting me to where I'm at. So I got, once again, like I told y'all in the last video, I keep a notepad handy in case, say I say something that, hey, makes me think about, hey, you need to remember that. But once again, we may have something we need to write down. We don't know. Keep it handy. Keep you a good little pen. So let's get started today. Safe coping skills. Why are they important? When dealing with mental illness, we come to a point where we forget rationality. We are not able to rationalize how things should be processed first, what we are processing and how we are processing it. So I have this, it was given to me by one of my therapists. It's a safe coping skills sheet, and there are, oh my gosh, let me look here. There's 84 different safe coping skills, but I picked out 10 that I use every day to cope. You never know when you're going to go into a bipolar mania, a bipolar rage, and you need to know the difference between your mania and your manic, your highs, your lows, and we'll get into that later on. But today we're just going to talk about safe coping skills, skill sets that a lot of us don't have. So maybe some of these can help you. So let's get going. See what we got here. Safe coping skills. This is from Seeking Safety. It's a cognitive behavior therapy for PTSD and substance abuse. The safe coping skills sheet I'm reading from is by Lisa M. Nahavitz. I believe I said that right. She's it's PhD. It's Najavits. So I'm pretty sure you can look this up online and print it out. But I wanted to go over some of them with you. Number 1, if you are not feeling well, ask for help. Reach out to someone safe. And when it talks about safe, it doesn't mean not necessarily the police or, sorry, there was a dog behind me. Not necessarily the police or anything. If you're not feeling well, if you don't feel safe within yourself, if you're like, I don't know what my mind's going to do today or whatnot, then reach out to someone safe. Your mom, your best friend, your therapist, your spouse, someone from your church, or whatever you believe in your group. Reach out to someone that you know takes your safety just as important as you do. Number 2, inspire yourself. Carry something positive. A poem. I wish I had it in here with me, my mustard seed. It reminds me to have faith as small as a mustard seed. It's biblical, and that God is always there as long as I have that. So I carry that with me in my pocket. Or you can carry something negative, photo of a friend who overdosed. There was someone in my family who has overdosed due to mental health and a substance addiction to narcotics. And I keep a picture of that person very close with me at all times to remind me that I can do this, that I have more help now than that person did during that time. And it reminds me that I'm fighting to give all of us hope because she was lost and didn't have that hope, and I want to give it to others. So I keep that with me. 3, leave a bad scene. When things go wrong, get out. That's simple. I don't care if it's in the middle of a store, in the middle of your home, in the middle of public. I don't care. If the scene goes wrong, get out. If you're at a friend's house and a spouse and their other half start arguing, remove yourself. Because one of the things that we have a bad habit doing with mental illness is putting ourselves in that person's relationship, into their position, and then we take it on. So one of the things we have to learn how to do is to remove ourselves from others' situations so we don't take it on. We don't need that drama. We don't need that unhealthy in our minds. So always be able to remove yourself. Always have an escape plan and an exit route. I tell Mark all the time when I'm not feeling well, we need to exit stage left. It's time. And he understands. So always have an exit strategy. Number 4, persist. Never, 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 never give up. Never. I don't care how bad the day is. Remember, in my last video, we discussed how we only have to live this day one time. You have to persist through those days. Never give up. Even when you feel like you are at your loss, you're at your weakest, you can't get out of bed, you can't do the dishes, every little sound makes you aggravated, you're irritated, you want to cry, you want to scream. I don't care. Do not give up, because you only have to live this day once. And tomorrow is a new day. So always persist. Always find a reason to get up and go. You know what? Today may be hard. Today my head may be going 90 miles an hour. Today I don't feel like getting out of bed. Today I just wish I could sleep my life away. We have to be persistent in getting up and making sure, you know what? I'm only just going to take a shower today. Start there. Then move on to now. I'm going to make a pot of coffee. Nobody says you have to get up and live your day the way you normally would on a good day, but you have to persist on getting up and continuing just to get through the day. So that way you can say, I only have to live this day once. Number 5, honesty. Oh, mental illness and honesty, very hard. It says secrets and lyings are the core of PTSD and substance abuse. Honesty heals them. As a PTSD patient, I had to learn how to tell people when my day was bad. I had to quit lying about saying I'm having a good day when I know I wasn't. Because what happens is if I'm having a bad day in my head and the PTSD is getting to me, the memories are there and they're racing, they're constant. I can't forget the horror and the misery, and I can't get past the thoughts. I have to be honest with the people around me. I'm not well today. Today is a PTSD day. Guys, it doesn't just last one day. Some days it lasts days, weeks, months. But just know you have to be honest to yourself. Mainly, I I am very honest with myself. Today I can't do it. Today I cannot deal with the world, and today I cannot deal with all the drama because I have enough going on in my head. And I am honest to the people around me, my spouse, my children, everyone around me. Guys, today's not good. I just need you to love me, hug me, and let me know that I am safe, because today I don't feel safe. Today, my memories and my mind are bigger than me. So, honesty is the biggest thing you can do, not just with the people around you, but with yourself. Letting yourself know that you're not okay that day lets yourself also know that you're growing and you're learning how to deal with this. So be honest. Cry. Let yourself cry. It will not last forever. Oh, I cry. There are mornings I wake up and my head is just going 900 miles an hour. Alex is our 13-year-old, and she is 13. But there are days where she's emotional, I'm emotional. Mark's had a long day. I don't know what else to do. I go to the bathroom, I turn the shower on, get in, and I bawl. I cry like a little kid. Why? Because the crying doesn't last forever. But there's more to the crying than just crying. You've got to feel these emotions. I know that if I don't cry, I get angry. Anger is a secondary emotion. I have to be able to identify what has gotten me there. So usually when I'm crying, I'm like, I don't know why I feel this way, but I'm going to cry it out so I don't get angry. That's what you do. And it may take 45 minutes, it may take 2 hours, but the crying stops. And somehow in your brain and in your body, you feel so much better after a great cry. Just a boo-hoo. Just cry it all out. Cry it all out. Your daughter's not behaving. Your son is screaming. The dogs are barking. Your husband's being a boy. Whatever it may be. Whatever the struggle is. That day. The chaos. Step aside and cry. It's okay. We are allowed to cry. We're allowed to say, I can't do this right now. And just sit and sob. Because sometimes sobbing is a release that is purifying and cleansing. And we need to give our bodies that. We need to give, we allow ourselves to get angry. We need to allow ourselves to sob and to feel that tenderness inside of us so we can identify with it. Number 7, choose self-respect. Choose whatever will make you like yourself tomorrow. I am huge on this. It took me a long time to learn this. Self-respect is hard because you are your biggest critic. And when you struggle with a mental illness, you are definitely the whole panel of critics. I choose to do things in my life that will make me happy tomorrow. Whether that be taking care of my daughter, reading a book, getting dressed every day, being honest with who I am, what I'm going through, and where I want to be, and where I am striving to go. I respect myself so much for coming so far. You have to find reasons to respect yourself. I know it's hard. It took me a long time to learn self-respect. It took me years, actually, because I always beat myself down. Well, you're mentally ill. You're physically ill. You go through a lot of surgeries. Just so much. And I thought, how do you respect yourself? How do you respect all this? Well, how you respect yourself is by looking in the mirror and saying, you've made it. You've made it. You survived today. You didn't lose it. You took your medication, you exercised, and you made it through today. You didn't lose it and try to commit suicide, and you didn't lose it and wind up in a mental hospital for treatment. You made it through today, and you need to have self-respect for that. To know that you survived. Because as much as our support system is important, it all boils down to, when it comes to self-respect, you yourself. And you have to respect yourself enough to say, I did this, and I'm doing this, and I'm going to do this, and I don't care what the stigma is. I'm out to hashtag in this stigma, and that's the way it's going to be. And I respect myself. Others don't have to, but I do. Number 8, take good care of your body. I discussed this in the last video about advice that I wish I had been given from the beginning. Eat right, exercise, sleep, safe sex, all of it. And when I mean, let's break this down. This one's pretty deep. We have to take care of our bodies in many ways. Safe sex. Protect yourself. If you are dealing with a mental health issue where you are sexually promiscuous, you make sure you're protecting yourself. You get your check, your HIV check, all of it. As a matter of fact, give me a second. Let's see here. For any free HIV screening, you can for a free HIV test, call 211. I don't know if you can see this. This is here in Oklahoma. I picked this up because mental health issues. A lot of us have promiscuous sex. I am grateful that is not something I battle, but there are a lot that do. Make sure you're being tested. Make sure you're being safe. Condoms, getting your blood work done, birth control, whatever it may be. Make sure your partners are clean. Have self-respect. Take good care of yourself. Eating, we discussed that. What you're putting in your body plays a big role. If you're putting in a bunch of sugars and a bunch of processed foods, your body's not getting that nutrients you need for your brain to function right. And with mental health, one of the biggest things we need to do is make sure that we are giving our brain the ample opportunity to function at its fullest, at its best. So be aware of what you're eating. Find things that you enjoy, different ways of fixing it. Take care of it. Exercise, sleep. If I'm an insomniac, I take a sleeping pill because I can go days without sleep. It's very unhealthy because they consider you legally insane after 24 hours of no sleep. So if you're not sleeping, talk to your therapist, talk to your psychiatrist, get you something. Make sure you're getting that sleep, because sleep is the best thing for the brain. It gives you rest. It helps you process. Your subconscious can do what it needs to do in its sleep. But I promise you, in mental health, if you are not sleeping, you are not functioning at your fullest, and that can be dangerous. So we need to make sure that we are very aware of our sleep patterns. Keep a journal. Have your spouse or your significant other also keep an eye on it if they notice any changes. Don't get mad at them when they say, hey, you're not sleeping as much. Take that as a, hey, I've noticed, and we may need to take care of that. Number 9, list your options. In any situation, you have options. And you need to be able to list them. Example, you're in the grocery store. Everything's going good. You hit the vegetable aisle. And there's about 900 people on that aisle, and all you want to do is get to the green beans. This is how quick an anxiety can trigger. I see the 900 people. I need those 2 cans of green beans, and now my blood pressure is so sky high, my face is red, and I am sweating because the social anxiety has kicked in. I have to then stop and list my options. One of 2 things is going to happen. If I don't list my options and figure out what is best, then I'm going to have an outburst in public, and that can end very poorly on my end. So what I do is I list my options. If the aisle is that busy, I go to the next one and I come back. Or I have a person go with me, and I will send them down the aisle to get it. But I list my options. If my daughter comes to me and is like, Mom, I have something to tell you. You're not going to like it. And she tells me what it is. I have to be able to list my options on how I need to respond to this. Do I need to send her away for a moment so I can collect my thoughts and be in my right mind? Or am I okay enough to handle this? List your options. Don't put yourself in a situation where you can wind up in more than outpatient, because inpatient is hard. It really is. It's magnificent when you need it, but you don't want to be an inpatient if you don't have to be. And then number 10, the last one for today, create meaning for yourself. Remind yourself what you are living for. Your children love truth, justice, God. Create meaning. It's one of my favorite ones. On days when I feel like I'm a failure, on days when my past is racing through my mind, on days my self-esteem is low, when I look around the house and the dishes aren't done, there's a pile of laundry on the couch, my teenager is definitely being a teenager, I got 2 dogs running rampant, my husband needs this, he's working, and life is just chaotic. I find meaning in it all, and I've had to create that meaning. If Mark is working hard, the meaning of that is that he is taking care of our family. I find love, God, and justice. I find meaning in the world that I've been given. But I had to find that meaning, which means you're going to have to find that meaning too. You're going to have to really sit down and evaluate what makes you happy in the roughest moments of your day. What are the couple of thoughts you can think that just puts everything to ease? Mine is being able to hug my husband and my daughter, to know that I am loved, no matter what my diagnosis is. So find meaning, create meaning. There is nothing wrong with making sure that you create your happiness based upon who you are. No 2 mental health patients are the same. Yes, we suffer from the same symptoms, but we all have our own ways, which means that we have to find our own path with help. I know it's not curable, and I'm okay with that, but I have created meaning in my life, so I can live with it not being curable, because I still have meaning. I still have a purpose, and I live that purpose every day. So, those are 10 of my safe coping skills that I do. I live by. I apply them every day of my life. I use them. And I wanted to share them with you guys because we have got to start taking a stand for ourselves. We got to come together. We got to start being there for each other. I may not be able to call you. You may not be able to call me, but you can always send me an email at BethOKCHart, that's HART, at gmail.com. Hit me up privately on a DM if you have a question, you just want to talk. Anytime anyone sends me anything as private, I don't make anybody's business public. That's not the public's business. But if you have any questions or just need advice on a spouse if you're a spouse that needs advice, my husband is amazing at giving advice, let us know. We would love to be able to help you guys and go from there. So, all right, guys, until later, stay strong, create who you are, create meaning, take good care of your body, choose self-respect, inspire yourself, ask for help, be persistent on who you are. I love each and every one of you guys. Have a great afternoon. And remember, when it's hard, that's when you're your toughest.